So on our last ban list, we got a few hits that everybody agreed with, such as Diablos is getting banned, and maybe some lesser good hits that maybe people were not really happy with. And by that, I'm especially talking about Runic Fountain going to 2. I just love how a 2 of had to get semi-limited. Congratulations, you just lost 0 copies of a card. I hope it hurts, except that it doesn't. And I think you can already see where this is going. We got a big problem on our hands now. The Runic engine is pretty broken and can be abused in so many decks, I don't even know where to begin. And the Runic cards have insane utility too, so they cover a lot of ground. And it's not even like you can say that they lose to anti-spell because they're all quickly spells, so you can just chain all of them. And the draw 3 that you're getting from the fountain, and if anything, you can actually draw more if you have multiple fountains, is really absurd. And you're always recycling back all of your cards, so you always have an infinite grind game against everyone. One could argue that splashable engines are pretty healthy for Yu-Gi-Oh! Because, you know, they reinvigorate older strategies by making them worth playing again. And although I do believe that this argument is pretty fair, I do also believe that there should be somewhat of a cap to a certain engine because it could also cause issues. And the Runic engine definitely has a really big impact on the way Yu-Gi-Oh! Is played. So issue number 1 is the fact that the Runic cards actually banish cards from your opponent's deck. This is extremely unhealthy because first of all, it can be used as a way to deck people out, which is never a fair way to play the game, but also even if you're not using it for like degenerate purposes, you can still get really lucky and, you know, banish random combo pieces. So imagine if you're playing Despia and then someone activates like a Runic Tip and like a Runic Slumber and banishes all of your Albaz. There you go, now you can't play the game and you've already lost before your first turn. It's kind of similar with Purely in case they get like all their Kittens banished, or maybe with Eureka if they get like all their Sunseeds banished. I just hate the random variance aspect that just causes a lot of frustration. And so much of it that, again, there's a deck dedicated to decking people out. And you know, if it were garbage and didn't actually perform well, I'd at least cut it some slack, but it's literally the top performing deck in Singapore right now. Whether you are a casual or competitive player, it is absolutely not possible to have fun against Runic Stun deck out. They play every single floodgate that you never want to play against, and again, they make you lose every single resources you have, on top of drawing cards infinitely and always having answers to every single one of your plays. And you know, I get that making 10 negates in a combo deck is not any healthier, but you don't have to special summon to be degenerate, okay? Now, something else that I despise about the Runic cards is the fact that you have no battle phase. I guess it is Konami's way of balancing the cards, but it does introduce a new problem into Yu-Gi-Oh! Because of that, games can take forever, and quite often against Runic, you're going into time. And this will not play in your favor because they're extremely well prepared for time with cards like Red Resonator, Moonin, and even the Fur Hire build is prepared with Wiz. So these decks have a really big wall, can take forever to play game 1, and in game 2, at least they can cheese you out to at least have a draw. So in other words, if you're really unlucky, and if you keep getting screwed over by Runic in your tournament, you're actually going to have a really bad time. And not to mention that going into time in Yu-Gi-Oh! Has a tendency to bring the worst out of people. This is usually where people shark a lot, are very aggressive, and also tell you to hurry up even when they've been slow playing the whole game. I can guarantee you that you will not be making friends when playing Runic, just trust me on that one. Basically, it's the opposite of what this game should stand for. And clearly, Konami doesn't want for any of that to happen because they're all in favor for matches being shorter. I have heard that before the new time rules, well, the new time rules that we got in 2018, some regionals in like Los Angeles or something ended at like midnight or 1 AM or something. So hey, at least we're kind of improving in that regard. Okay, now I've talked a lot about the inconvenience of facing Runic, but how about the inconvenience of playing Runic? Well, games going into time can be really annoying for your opponents, obviously, but also for you. Mental fatigue is something to take into consideration when you're playing a really big tournament, and unfortunately, or rather fortunately, Runic is the kind of deck that I can guarantee you that you're always going to be really fatigued with. And that is a big reason why a lot of players are choosing out of their own free will not to play Runic. If you are not perfect, and you actually make mistakes every now and then, Runic is extremely punishing and you will be kicking yourself a lot. And if you don't enjoy every single second that you're spending playing Runic, you will definitely have a burnout at the end. Again, exactly as I said, the Runic cards aren't really making anyone happy in this game right now. But yeah, all things considered, the Runic engine should be getting a hit for their power level first and foremost. Runic Tip should have gone limited on the ban list because at least that would force people to play like the other shitty Runic cards. But hey, as long as this engine eventually disappears, I'm gonna be pretty happy. But yeah, that's all I had for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts about the Runic engine in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.